don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop. Grind don't stop.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chewed Gum. Well, something is happening. Welcome
That
to
was
Chewed
me,
Gum
my bad.
today. It's so fine. Today is August 12th, and this is a show about purity culture things, deconstructing things, women's issues, lots of stuff. And if you want to call in, you can call 720-619-2288, or you can use the web link that's in the description. We do have some lines that are open, so if you want to call, now would be the time to get your call in. I'm Alyssa, and this is Taylor. And last thing, super chats of $5 or more will be read at the end of the show. And that's all I got. Taylor, what's happening about Flabbergasted in the chat asked about if I know something that you are planning, that you planned from last episode. What are you guys planning?
Wait,
Do you know?
I'm not sure if he's talking about the thing that. So I'm trying to do some stuff with recovery from religion. I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about, but I'm just gonna assume that. And so we were gonna try and do some lives on TikTok, and I was gonna ask you if you were gonna be interested in doing like one with us at some point. I don't know when.
Sure.
But just to kind of like draw like attention and more traction to recovery from religion in general, because I feel like on places like TikTok and stuff they don't get enough recognition. So yeah, I don't know, maybe
I follow them on TikTok. Don't do that right
maybe
now.
I said the completely wrong thing though, so if I did, my bad. But no, I think that was it.
Well, okay, that's fun. I'm gonna find recovering from religion. There they are. Cool. Actually, do they have their own account?
Yeah, on TikTok, yeah. Or I'm not sure. I'm guessing like all socials, like Instagram and stuff like that.
That's interesting because it did. There it is. Okay, I see her. Okay, wonderful. Anyway, before we got on this call, we were talking about hate messages that people get and that we get on the internet. You've had some really spicy comment sections recently too. Every time your TikToks come up, I'm like, that's my girl. And I look in the comments, I'm like, oh my God. And people are fucking, they've been worse recently. I don't know what is going on.
Yeah. No, I feel like they have. And I made a video one today where basically I was talking about not having biological children, and I'm telling you this guy wrote me an entire fanfic novel about like how I'm gonna die alone and everyone's gonna leave me. And like he went into pretty like into some detailed things, and I was like, damn, you've really thought about this. And it's crazy how creative people get with it.
It's just also I forgot that I saw that one too. That why are people so obsessed with what you're doing specifically?
I don't know. Like I think they're just mad when they see a woman literally talking and and she's saying something they don't like. That's what it sounds like to me.
No, you're so right. And I made a reel and a TikTok today that were like, all of these stats about men basically like being violent. It's like they commit 90+% of sexual assault, mass shooting, murder, violent crime. And so I said, like, they, you know, they're the primary perpetrators of those crimes, and they're asking us to, like, be worried about the loneliness epidemic. And, you know, it's like, it's tough because I part of me is like, it's not my fucking problem to fix. And another part of me is like, I want to have deep empathy for people who are actually like dealing with loneliness in a way that's like very real. So I don't know. I go back and forth with it, but
it's hard when like some of the dudes talking about it are like some of the most insufferable people and like really sexist people we've ever met. And I think that's why I think that's what makes it hard is like typically the people talking about it are like just so like just use it against you and not, I don't know, not a productive way, if that makes any sense. It doesn't seem like they actually want to make it better. They just want to like take their anger out on women for it. So that's the annoying part, I think.
Yeah. And like one of what's interesting is the hate video that I got made for me. I don't even know, I don't know. Like 2-ish weeks ago. It was like right before last week's Chewed Gum episode. This woman, Chloe Sutherland maybe. She is, her like socials are like Roma something. Made this whole video, and honestly, I don't even remember what she said in it because all of the criticism she was giving was like genuinely word salad nothing. Like it was like, and she's in pajamas that are lingerie, and I was literally wearing fully a skirt and like a top, and I was like, do you think I sleep in skirts? That's crazy work. So anyway, she had this like whole criticism, but it was like really like I couldn't even bring myself to be upset because I was like, I don't actually even understand what your criticism is. And then which typically when I make content where I say like men, I'm expecting backlash because I understand that I'm like being inflammatory and like generalizing. What she said was like really didn't make sense. But yeah, and then I commented on that video and I said, come on, Chewed Gum. I won't be there this week. I will be there next week. We go 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Linked in my bio. She deleted the whole fucking video, and I'm so mad. And
that is honestly so freaking funny.
It was so, and there were people in her comment section and in my comment section. She's gone on the Whatever podcast before. So there were people in, that's when I saw that, I said, oh, I got your number. So there were people in like our comments, mine and hers, that were like, Roma would roast you on the Whatever podcast, and you just go on her podcast and you won't make it out of alive. And I was like, I asked her to come on our live show.
Yeah.
And she
like you come to me
the entire video.
Yeah, that is something. It's always funny how like on my social media too, gosh, I can't talk. People will write me stories in the comments, and when I literally tell them to call in all the time, and I haven't, unless like they've called in and not said, but like I don't think I've had any of them call in, so that's interesting.
They never freaking do. Drives me crazy. No. Anyway, we do have some people who called, and one of them is a theist. So if you're ready, we can pull him in.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. Aaron, we're pulling you in now. Aaron, are you there?
Yes. Hey, good evening.
Hi, hello. Aaron. How's it going?
Good. I was on YouTube today, and the algorithm suggested one of your videos, and I've been binge watching your videos for like 8 hours today at work. Kind of got behind in my work, but that's okay. No, you provide some good context, some good conversations, and some calls and all that, and I just liked all your stuff. So yeah, I saw that on the description that you go live on Tuesdays. I'm like, holy shit, it's Tuesday, so I might as well call in.
Wow, that worked out, huh?
Yeah. So I watched
So
the
I
one
saw.
video.
Yeah, continue, because people
I'm
can't
sorry, I didn't
see
mean
the
to
note
talk
that
over
you.
you.
No, it's totally fine. There's always a delay with our calls, so sometimes we end up just talking over each other, and we try to avoid it, but it's like sometimes unavoidable. But anyways,
Yeah,
we can see.
I try to do that
We can.
too. So
Yeah, it's tough. We could see what your little note was, but the people listening cannot. So, do you want to explain what you wanted to talk about today?
yeah, so I found the one video. I think you had this guy sound like Piers Morgan called into your show about the bricklayer from the UK. Do you recall that conversation? Like I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Mr. British. That call is actually a little bit, that's from like last year maybe, but I re-uploaded it
Oh,
onto
no
my
kidding.
channel like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's an older call, but I've been uploading old calls. So, but yeah, that was Mr. British, who is infamous on the line. He calls a lot.
So I wanted to answer the question. He kept going in circles about like changing the culture and women in bricklaying. It's simple. You have to change the culture. You have to get sexist attitudes out of the workplace, and you know, over time that will change. I mean, I just don't understand how he couldn't accept that. He kept going back to like lawyers and other things. So I mean, people just have to like change the culture and just ask yourself, if you had a son, would you want your son working in a sexist workplace like some of these construction sites? Would you want to have, let's say, his daughter working with guys like him? I mean, it's not that hard. I just don't understand why he couldn't catch on to that.
I think for people like that, I think it's more of like a defensiveness and ego thing. Like it's so much easier to like push really hard and be really stubborn with like the thing that you called about, that you feel like this is my smoking gun. No one can argue with me about this. And then to hear like an actual rebuttal, even if it's not like airtight and perfect, to hear anybody argue with you, and to like be so defensive you can't even say, oh, you know what, actually that is a good point. I still feel firm on whatever I feel, but like that is a good point. Like this is a person who's incapable of doing that, and he's called the line like multiple shows on the line, and has had that experience over and over again. So I don't really know what his problem is.
Yeah,
I
he
feel like
just
he
says a
thinks
lot
it's
of
like
good
a.
things. Yeah. You
Oh, I
mentioned
was just
like the
gonna
male
say.
loneliness. Yeah, I'm so sorry
Go
about the
ahead, go
lag, but
ahead.
you mentioned like the male loneliness epidemic, and I just think the guys who complain about that, you go on YouTube, it's like you click on one video, your algorithm's going to suggest like the whatever podcast and Andrew Tate and all the other bullshit. But the men who complain about that, they all claimed like 7, 8 years ago that we're all walking away from women. They walk away from women. They go on the incel forums. They play 19 hours a day of video games. They don't leave the house. Then they complain that they're lonely. I'm like, you guys created this. You guys did this to yourself. I mean, what do you want from everybody? They can't put this on women either.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier too, because I'm like of two minds with it. Part of me is like very much in line with what you're sharing, which is like it's tough because this is a system that has been built to support men. So when the system starts to fail them, and then they're requesting support from like the women around them, to help move them through a system that they created and perpetuated until it no longer worked for them. It's sort of like F you on the horse you rode in on a little bit. And at the same
Yeah.
time, yeah, at the same time, I also like there are people who are genuinely suffering with feeling lonely because we are just not as communal as we used to be. Like we don't like if you go to a coffee shop and you're planning on sitting in there for an hour, which already people don't do anymore. But if you were to like sit in a coffee shop for an hour, what's the likelihood that you would like talk to a stranger in there? It'd be like next to nothing. But for maybe like 30 years ago, if you went into a coffee shop and like someone was sitting next to you to be like, oh, what's that book you're reading? Whatever. Like, we're not good at socializing with strangers anymore. We're not as good at like creating community. Men in general are not as encouraged to create community as women are. So, you know, stuff like that. There's like a whole stigma around mental health stuff too. So there's like so much there. And I just don't think that the answer is that women are supposed to solve all of the problems. It's kind of like, figure it
Yeah, I
out for
agree.
yourself. We figured it out.
Yeah, like I've actually, now you brought mental health. I actually started going to therapy a couple months ago, and I think part of it just got me to accept that men are just as emotional as women are. And it's like when women get emotional, it's like they're held, you know, criticized for it. But when men get emotional, it's like just write it off as like anger. Like a lot of times when men get emotional, like put their fists to the wall, committing violence, you know, dealing with a lot of unhealed trauma, like goes into the crime statistics. So I think part of me for healing and therapy is to realize and accept that I'm an emotional person. You know, that's okay. So I'm happy I heard you talk about that when I was sitting on hold. So
Yeah, I feel like I always have empathy for especially young like teenage boys. I feel like they're the easiest to radicalize, and with the like red pill stuff. And that, if you guys watch that adolescence show or whatever about it, it kind of went through that. But it's crazy the amount of videos I see from mothers or brothers or sisters saying, hey, my little brother's starting to watch Charlie Kirk or Andrew Tate, like how do I get him to stop? And it's weird because they are so effective at bringing in like young boys, and then obviously we get like more people within that generation who are blaming women for, you know, being lonely, which is obviously a dangerous thing because serious violence has been done in the name of that. And then within those communities on like Reddit and stuff, they look up to those people, which is pretty concerning.
yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was 20, I kind of got sucked into that pickup artist space for like a couple months, watched the content. After a couple months, I'm like, this is stupid. Like, these guys are morons. And I was 20. I can't imagine what a 15-year-old goes through coming across that. This was like 2013,
Yeah.
too, so it was a different era.
Yeah, I think it's like an easy, like you said, you watch one video and then suddenly you're down this pipeline of like the Andrew Tates of the world and the whatever podcasts of the world, and it's a space where they're telling people that nothing you're doing is wrong and everyone else should bend a knee to you because you are superior because you're a man and you're an alpha and like whatever the BS is that they want to spin. So I think for especially people who are so young, that it feels really good to be like, oh, none of this is my fault. And I get to be scot-free and everyone else gets to treat me like I am a king. So I think it just feels good to people. But I always think with people like Andrew Tate, and I'm not sure what the deal is with the guys from the Whatever podcast, it's insane to me to look for dating and relationship advice from a man who is perpetually single.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
And
was
if you always
just about
talk about,
to. Sorry,
oh, I'm
go
sorry, I
ahead.
was going to say, they always talk about being the alpha males and like the natural leaders. Then why don't they prove to the world and be the natural leaders that they proclaim to be and fix their problem? They complain about education and men falling behind in degrees. Well, they complain about that, and they tell men not to go to school, and then they complain about education. Why don't they be the leaders that they claim to be and fix their problems and keep the women out of it? It's that simple.
Yeah, I think part of their grift is because genuinely, if a guy wants to, like, you know, find a girl or a woman and be in a relationship with them, if he goes with the red pill advice, he's going to be single for like the rest of his life. And I think that's what they bet on, and that's the entire grift. Is like, I don't think they actually even believe in what they're saying, or else they would be living different lifestyles. Like, it's weird to watch because like sometimes they come at it from a Christian perspective, but then other times they don't, and it's like a really secular perspective. And it's interesting to watch because like the Whatever podcast guys, I think they're like Christian, but then you have red pillars that come on that are like, oh, it should be an open relationship on your end and her end should be closed. really bizarre, the amount of like cognitive dissonance that's going on with all of that.
But please, I would like to see you debate Andrew Wilson, go head on head with him. I mean, that would be pretty interesting.
Oh my god.
That guy's just a blowhard. I just can't stand him and his
Me
wife.
neither.
I think there's two tryhards. I don't know how to describe it. Like, this seems so fake.
Wait, who
Yeah.
is it? Andrew who?
Andrew Wilson and his wife Rachel Wilson. She's like that woman on Twitter who says like Rachel for patriarchy or whatever her name is. She's basically another version of him.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm looking at her now. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think is hard with people like this is it almost doesn't matter what we say to people who are like so red-pilled and so, because a lot of the time, even when we have conversations with people who are like super Trumpy or whatever, it's like we're operating from such a different set of information and set of facts that it's like I could tell you till I am blue in the face that, actually one of my favorite examples of this is I can't tell you how many times I have had men argue with me about the wage gap. And I always tell them this is federally documented. Like, this is documented in census information. Like, this is documented in a way where like it's just is. Like, there just is a wage gap. I don't know what to tell you. And it's been this way for so long. And then inevitably the response is, well, I do this job and there is a girl who does exactly the same job as me and I know that she gets paid more than me and blah blah blah. And I'm like, again, there's like a difference between anecdotal evidence and also things that are studied among like a whole sample of people. And also, am I supposed to just believe you that that's the case? I don't know about all that.
Right.
But anyway, talking to people like that is like impossible.
I feel like one of the reasons it's impossible is we're like in a time period right now where people get to choose their own reality. And like we're in a time period where people are ignoring like factual information and just saying it's not true. And we see that like to the highest degree, like in the highest government and stuff. So I think it's such a weird time period where you can't really reason with people who are literally living in a different reality because they don't care about what is factual information or not.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with that. Well, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know you have a lot of people to get to, but I really appreciate talking to you, and I'll keep enjoying your YouTube channel.
Thank you so much. That's so nice. I appreciate you calling.
Thanks for calling,
have a good
Aaron.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
I was prepared to, I saw Theus and I saw that he wanted to talk about the bricklaying, and I was like, gotta get my facts up about bricklayers now.
I know, I thought it was gonna be the guy that like from before, I guess, but yeah, no.
No. That man always comes through as Mr. British and never his real name,
okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a really strong attempt at reading the shows for the rest of the week, okay? The Hang Up, tomorrow at 6 p.m. with Matt Dillahunty and Mandisa Thomas. I think that's how you say your name. Let me know if that's wrong. TACIS on the 14th on Thursday with Luxander and Josie. And then 15, 16, 17. Okay, and then the Sunday show at 7 p.m. with John and Erica. And Skeptalk. Is that right? Yes. Wait, the Sunday show. And also 2 p.m. Sunday show with Matt and Jimmy. And then we have Skeptalk on the 18th, which is next Monday, 6 p.m. with Aaron and John. And then we're looping back around to Chewed Gum. And next Chewed Gum, next week, it will be myself and Erica. So that's fun. Switching it up. You get to have a nice little break.
True.
From the crazy. So, yeah. I don't know. Anything else?
Not that I have, personally.
Okay. Do you have a preference of the 2 calls that we have in there?
I don't. The one seems more like what you're qualified to talk about, so I'm gonna let it up
Yeah.
to you which one you'd rather
Okay,
pick.
we'll pull in Melanie first, and we'll answer that question first. Hi, Melanie.
Hi, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. All right. What did you want to talk about today? I see it's like about sex therapist stuff and purity culture. Tell us more.
Yeah, basically. So I live in Utah, as you can see, and I'm currently working on or nearing the end of my bachelor's degree and have to start deciding what I want to do after that, going for master's programs. And I've been contemplating recently about going into like couples and sex therapy because it is something I'm passionate about, and I'm also polyamorous. So one of the biggest complaints in the E&M community, especially here, is the inability to find any kind of therapist or couples therapist who are E&M friendly. Because as you can guess, if purity culture was a state, it would be Utah. We're very much not sex positive here. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to call and talk to you about that, get your ideas on working somewhere who's essentially against the work you're doing. I mean, right now I work in HIV care, so I get a bit of it, but I feel like it's definitely going to be worse if I do decide to go into this realm.
Well, so the good news is that to be a sex therapist, you have to just be like a regular licensed therapist first. So even if someone wants to come to you for something that has nothing to do with sex, you are licensed and totally prepared for those conversations too. So it's not like once you're a sex therapist, those are the only types of, like, that's the only way that you can represent yourself and the only types of clients that you can take on. Like I had a sex therapist like years ago, and I looked for her because I was doing my training in sex education, and I knew that those would be conversations I would be having, and I just wanted to like avoid anything about purity culture, any friction. I was like, I need someone who's kind of done this program already so that we're on the same page. And it was super helpful. And we really didn't talk about sex very much, but it was nice that I knew she had like the openness around it. And also, when you do the training for sex therapy, if you're doing like an ASECT certification program, which is typically what you do in the US, it'll just give you so much more information about relationship dynamics and about like sexuality is a massive part of the human experience. Even if you aren't a sex therapist, it's such a huge part of all of it. And then once you start doing these sex education programs or sex therapy programs, you can also branch out into like specializing in E&M. You can specialize in kink. You can be trauma informed. Like what really all it does is broaden your experience so much and your expertise so much that when people come to you, even if they're coming to you for regular therapy, you're going to have this huge depth of knowledge. So I think my point in saying all of that is you could still advertise yourself as a, regular psychotherapist and say, psychotherapist with a a expertise in sex therapy, if that wording feels like it might be better for you. But I mean, it's like they can't kick you out of the state for practicing therapy and specializing in sexuality, they can't, it is still a mental health field. So I think it won't be that bad, but I also live in New York and not Utah, so I might be being a little naive.
Yeah, we get a lot of time when people find out that I'm polyamorous, even though we have a surprisingly robust particularly swingers community, but there's a lot of just regular polyamorous people.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely get a lot of weird looks about that, and previously married to a woman and now dating 2 men, so that I get weird looks on that as well. It's an interesting state to live in if you are outside the norm, especially with sexuality.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure.
there's probably people. I feel like there's probably people there that would really find you helpful, like in that, like because they feel isolated as well. You know, you might be surprised of
Yes.
like how many people would come to you.
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest complaints I always hear anytime that therapy gets brought up in any kind of E&M spaces, the biggest complaint is finding a therapist who is not just going to either push religion or push monogamy, because those are the biggest one. Like, the first time I tried to go to therapy, she decided all of my issues were because I didn't have children and I wasn't married and I wasn't part of the church at 28. So
God.
that was the experience.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is you get to be a change maker in that space, and you can even, depending on how you want to do your business, like build your business, you could be a huge you could create waves in your community by helping to grow a community of sex therapists in your area, so that people who are wanting to experience anything outside of like purity culture soaked relationship dynamics, they'll have an outlet to talk about that. And also, you know this probably better than anyone, people are always way more like adventurous and like quote freaky than they want to present. So like, even if there are people who might be like sort of judgment, you know, Melody, even if they're thinking that they're going to be like judgmental or whatever, like to your face, you know that their ass is doing something crazy behind closed doors. So like, whatever, they can hold their judgment, because at least you are honest about how you're showing up in the world, and they feel like they unfortunately have to like hide behind shame and all this other stuff, embarrassment. But I think you, like, if this is something that you're interested in, we need so much more support in this area, especially in places like that. So like, there are probably going to be parts that are hard, but you are kind of protected as a therapist, and you'll be able to practice where you are, and people are going to be so excited that you're there. And a lot of the times too, people will reach out to me and they'll say like, I live in like Arkansas, and so I can't find a sex therapist in my area, and I'm really struggling, like I don't know what to do. So you could be like a really huge resource for the people in your area that are really, really looking for some kind of support that's actually helpful, and not join the church and have kids. So I say do it.
Do it.
Well, my other choice, I'm honestly currently debating between either going for my master's and doing that route, or finishing my bachelor's and then becoming a substance use disorder counselor, which is a whole other route. So
yeah,
well, either would be beneficial.
I'm nearing the end of my current education, and it's time to actually make a decision, because I have to start putting in applications like the beginning of next year.
Yeah. I mean,
the
other thing to consider too is like, if you want to be a sex therapist, you have to go through the process of being a therapist, a licensed therapist, and then you do additional schooling. So there's like a little extra that you have to do. It's nothing crazy. If I did it, you can do it. So, you know, you'll be fine. It's fun. And it's also like, you want me to like read a paper about people's sexual fantasies? Twist my arm. Like, what? Come on. It's fun. So I think you would really enjoy it. But of course, like, do the things that make you feel comfortable, and really mull it over. And also, you can DM me on Instagram if you want any other support or have questions, or there are like communities of people who are sexperts in all types of areas of the space that you can connect with too, and I can help connect you with if that is of interest to you.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. I may have to do that. And I've also been trying to do some research on actual therapists working in the state that work in that field already, so I'm hoping to be able to do some kind of shadowing or something, just decide if that is the direction I want to go. But I don't know, it's definitely something I've been very passionate about. At a previous job, I worked at a syringe exchange, and I became known as the condom lady because for whatever reason, I always ended up with a handful of condoms in my purse to give out to clients that somehow just stayed in my purse. So I'd go out to the bar with friends and, oh yeah, do you need some? Here you go. This one's glow in the dark. Have fun. So,
Melody, you and I have that in common. I too am the condom lady.
I've kind of become the girl that my friends approach about, hey, my boyfriend brought up this weird thing last night and I don't know how I feel about it. Can I talk to you? So,
Melody, you're doing it already. You already are like doing this job. Like you basically just have like if those conversations are fun for you, and then you're already kind of doing it. You just have to like have the education and certification to back it up. But I mean, you're already kind of doing it. You already are the condom lady.
Yes, I still am. I haven't been at that job for 3 years. I work as a case manager in HIV here now, and I probably still have at least 3 condoms in my purse at the moment, just because.
I love it.
And I'm sterilized, so I don't even need them at the moment.
That's even better. That's even better. Condoms for the community. There you go. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, DM me on Instagram if you want any other support or have any other questions. I'm happy to help you and connect you with any larger community that I can find, especially in Utah. But, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I'm only going to tell you to do it because it's really fun. And also, you seem like you would really love it. So it's like, I don't know, it's a fun job. Like, you get to just talk about, like, one of the coolest, craziest things that human beings do all day long.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you.
So,
this has been very helpful. I will definitely be DMing you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Melanie.
Bye, Melanie. Okay. So fun. Oh, boy. Are you in Colin's studio?
Yes, we should take the theist.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay. Let's pull in Tonya. I think Tonya. Tanya. So sorry.
Oh.
Hi, Tanya.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
All right.
How's it going? What do you want to talk about today?
My question would be, all right, I believe in God, but I don't feel like it's my job to try to get anyone else to believe in God. But if you're an atheist, how would you respond if you saw the miracle occur right in front of you and you had no other way to explain it than that it was supernatural? Like, okay, I have metal plates and screws in my ankle, and if there's an x-ray machine too, let's include that in there, and I prayed for my ankle, and you literally saw that metal come out of my ankle in front of your eyes and sit right on the floor next to you, and my bone restored, and I took off running, and I can't run right now. How would you, as an atheist, explain that? Of course, that hasn't happened yet either, so this is a theoretical question.
I'd probably be like, damn, that's crazy. And then that's about it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't assume it's
okay, because
God or
there's
anything.
going to be people that start to transfigure. These people will literally shine with light. These are real Christians. These are God's true people that have ran from the religious people. The religious people inside the churches are Satan worshipers, and the ministers are actually lying on purpose. The people
Wait, who are
inside
Satan
the churches,
worshippers?
No. The people inside the churches, the ministers know they're lying to people. They know that the Bible is telling them to return the money. They know that Matthew 19:12 says God prefers same-sex marriage, and transgender people are born that way. So, there's going to be some pretty cool stuff that's going to happen soon. Of course, it hasn't happened yet. So, but Jesus and Elijah, they both returned as women and they marry each other. And Elijah is male in gender, Jesus is female in gender, all right?
I've never heard this before, a day in my life.
Yes. All right.
This is a
Where
new
are you getting all
interpretation.
that?
And, okay, Matthew 19:12. There are some eunuchs that are born that way. There are some made that way by others. And there are those that choose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. All right? So male or female is determined by gender, located in the soul, not sex characteristics. The soul enters the body at birth when a baby takes its first breath. So a woman can be either male or female in gender. Transgender people are born that way. And then, all right, some people that are abused become gay. Okay, so I was 100% bisexual, and when I was raped, I no longer had interest in men. Now I'm 100% lesbian. These are people made that way by others, and then those that choose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven are bisexual people that choose partners of the same sex but opposite in gender. And what if I told you these ministers know this, but they're lying to people, and they're not even real people. They don't even have souls. They're what you would call a soulless being or a Nephilim or a demon hybrid, especially the mega churches. They are literally demons inside meat suits, lying on purpose, trying to trick people.
Okay, are you Christian? I'm confused.
I believe in God, and I mean, it depends what you think a Christian is. I'll tell you right now, if they go to church, they're not Christian. Those people worship Satan, and they follow lies. But the ministers know they're lying. They're trying to trick people. This whole rapture thing, it's going to be the people inside the churches that disappear, and God's real people, the actual Christians, are going to have the biggest celebration ever witnessed. All right, I'm sure the atheists and everyone that remains is going to join in when Donald Trump literally gets hit by a fireball and dies, or however he dies. I'm sure that you guys will
From
be
your
celebrating
lips
too.
to God's ears.
Yes. So,
wait.
Please, God.
all
no,
right, there's
Tony,
a
I have a
huge
question, actually.
celebration that is coming.
I have a
There's
question.
really
Where is like all of this coming from? You're not you don't identify as a Christian, but you use the Bible. Is there like
no, I'm
a group?
absolutely a Christian, all right, and I am Elijah reincarnated. My job is to restore truth to Scripture. Matthew 17:11 says, before the appearance of Jesus, that God sends Elijah back to restore all things and to usher in Jesus. So my job is to restore truth to Scripture and to call out these ministers to repent. All right, so like if you would get to go to the Bible, Malachi 2 says, and now you priest, this warning is for you. It proves Malachi 3:8 when it says, bring all the tithes and offerings into the storehouse, is actually talking to the ministers and telling them to return the money they were never supposed to take. True Christians and true people of God do not sell the gospel. These ministers know they're lying.
I hear that, yeah, and I think you know, whether it's for the reasons that you are putting on the table or not, I do think that to some degree some of these ministers know that they're lying about something. But I also I want to connect to the original question you called for, which was, what would an atheist do should they experience something that someone else would call
supernatural?
A miracle? I think that I would just not. First of all, I would never really, my first instinct wouldn't be to think it's a miracle. My first instinct would be, oh my God, this person's body just healed itself, or like our work as human beings who have figured out, who have made so many advances in medical support, have created a situation where Tonya can walk
Okay,
in a
now
way
what
that
if you were
he didn't think he could before. Like, why would I
what
give the
if you were
credit
sitting
to?
what if you were sitting in front of me and you saw the metal literally coming out of my ankle without doctors,
Well,
without machines, and it couldn't
yeah,
be
but
described
Tonya,
that way?
if my grandmother had two wheels, she'd be a bike. You know, it's like we're talking about these hypotheticals that could
It's
never
theoretical,
happen.
yes. So we're talking about yes,
Yeah,
and
like
I understand that. This is all theoretical. It hasn't happened yet, yeah.
if
And
hypothetically,
I
if I were
understand
to experience something that I really like, exactly what you're describing, and I saw metal like levitating out of your foot or your leg, then like, yeah, maybe I would be on board. Like there's something supernatural happening, but I've never seen anything like that, and that's not really documented in an indisputable way, which is why I don't believe that those things could happen. I also,
And
the
that's
other part of
okay, and
this,
you're allowed to
Tonya,
believe that, yeah.
yeah, the other part of this is, I remember maybe it was either Forrest or Matt who had said this on one of their shows. It's one thing to convince me that God exists, and it is quite another to convince me that he's a good person, because if there is a miracle that's going to happen for, let's say, like you and your foot and the metal and the whole thing, why would there ever be children who die from cancer, the children who are dying in Gaza who have, committed no sins?
Okay,
They are
now, what
children.
if I tell you part of that, all right, part of that God steps out of man's ways until now. Now judgment is falling, all right? And a lot of those people in Gaza are still running right back, trying to get into their mosques, and they're serving false gods, all right? But not all of them are probably running right back into the fake temples. And I absolutely cannot answer you, why was I molested as a child? Why does a child die from cancer? I don't know. Some of it is man has free will, and some other person did that to me. God didn't do that to me. But as far as cancer goes, I can't answer that. Part of it could be because their parents are not repenting and running from the churches. The people in Texas that died from the flood, that Christian camp, those people were told, if you do not get out of the fake churches and if you do not run from the people that worship Satan, and if you continue choosing lies over truth, that they're going to die. So when they died in the flood, they were told it would happen, but they didn't listen.
The children? Why were the children? Also, I also want to just for 1 second, I want to revisit when you talked about the sexual assault, which I'm very sorry that happened to you. In that circumstance, when you describe free will, why was your free will being violated? And that's okay on behalf, like, so
no,
in that circumstance,
not okay. Yeah.
Right. So like in that so you understand where I will always struggle with, even if he is real, I don't believe he's a good person.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good person.
And I completely understand that logic, because why wouldn't stop it before it happened? Why, God has power to stop it. Why would God even let that happen in the first place? I can understand.
Right. You also understand that in the Bible, God kills way more people than Satan ever does.
There's parts in the Bible that I don't believe were really truly from God. But okay, when God takes these people in Texas, their children were taken because it was judgment on the parents. You don't bring judgment on someone by killing them. They're gone, all right?
Is that justice to punish a kid for something their parents did?
Well, I don't have all the answers, but okay, let's say a child up until the age of such and such is still under the parent's control. You don't bring judgment on a parent by taking the parent. That parent is gone. They're free. The child's free. But if you take their children, you're bringing judgment on the parent. I can understand that did the child do, though? I can full well use logic to also question, what about that child? Was that child given a chance to make the choice? I can fully understand that. I don't have the answer to that. I just don't. I don't know.
Also, how do you decide what parts of the Bible are from God and which aren't?
Exactly, and that's where you would have to sit down, and if you believe in God, the Holy Spirit's supposed to lead you into what is true and what is not, but nobody has all the answers, obviously, and sometimes it takes years and years for someone to come to the truth. I don't know why have I suffered from such severe depression since I was 19 that I can't work, I can't hardly do anything, and then I've been told, well, it's for a purpose, your redemption is coming, but it doesn't explain away my pain. I'm the one choosing God, trying to do good, and I'm the one suffering. I don't know why. It seems like people that do choose God suffer the most, too. I don't know if there's some kind of spiritual law that says, as bad as it was for you, you get 7 times redemption. I don't have those answers, and I have those kind of same questions that you do too. I've sat here and cussed God out and asked God, why? This doesn't make sense. Why are you letting Donald Trump do all these things? And we full well know that Trump is not godly, and he's, if anything, demonic, okay? He's the so-called Antichrist. There is no one single Antichrist, but he's the man of sin. Yes. Why does Trump get to do all these things and walk around free and not be in jail? I've had these same questions. I don't have the answers to all of that, but I do know that Trump won't be here much longer. And I do know some kind of huge celebration is coming, but I have the same questions you do, to be honest.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah, it does suck.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, you're unpacking a lot of stuff, and I think religion can be really comforting and really helpful finding
I don't actually believe in religion. I believe in, there's parts of the Bible that I believe there's like consequences to things. Like if you go steal from a bank, all right, that's probably going to be wrong in most people's eyes, and people shouldn't do that. But I don't really believe in religion. I don't follow a set kind of laws. I don't believe that that's God. I believe that we're led, people that truly serve God are like led by the Holy Spirit. They don't follow all these laws like the people inside the churches are taught to do. That's religious doctrine, and it's a bad spirit. It's like those people are being corrupted by Satan by even walking into those places.
Do you feel like
your
belief system has helped you in any way?
I feel like that God put me into a deep sleep, and so I could walk into these so-called churches, and I could see what they're doing, and how true people of God told me, Tanya, those ministers knew that you were Elijah and that you're the bride of Jesus, and they tried to kill you on purpose. And it opened my eyes to see that those people flat out go home and worship Satan and demons and lies. And they know that same-sex marriage is not a sin. They're lying on purpose. They might not even be real people. They might not even have souls. So I don't have all the answers. Someone knocked on my door, and it took my concentration off of what we were talking about. But I know the experiences I went through really opened my eyes to how evil those ministers are. I'm not going to say all the little, smaller churches always knew they were lying, but I mean, now it's obvious to me the only reason someone opens a building and calls it a church is to get people's money. That's it. I woke up. Things are more obvious to me that the mega churches, those so-called ministers, know they're evil. They know they lie on purpose to try to kill God's people, and they're going to be gone soon. They leave in their rapture. They will disappear, and one day, and there's going to be this huge celebration. But I can't prove that. Until it happens, it's still a theory. I mean,
well,
that's...
I think you have a really interesting theory, and this has been super interesting to hear about. And there are some things that I agree with you on. Like, I think that mega churches are evil and they're just in it for the money. I think Donald Trump is, an evil fuck, and I hope that he leaves this earth sometime soon.
He will go soon. I promise you, and I sincerely believe that God will send a fireball to take him out. I sincerely believe that, so that people will know that only God could do it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your perspective. We do have a full call queue, so I want to make sure we get to some other calls. But we appreciate you calling in and sharing your new perspective with us.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me a voice. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You guys have a good day. Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay. I feel like I need to take a lap after that. What just happened?
I'm making drinks if anybody needs one.
I need one. That was fascinating. Oh, Taylor, I think you're muted.
Damn, I was muted that whole time. Okay. I was gonna say one thing that came to mind when he was talking about like all the pain he had been through, and it sounds like he's, lived through some pretty terrible things. I feel like religion gives people this thing of, oh, well, I went through that for a reason. So this, like how he was saying, this pain is beneficial. And I think it's harder sometimes for people to be like, oh, that wasn't necessary. Like, I didn't have to go through that suffering, but I did.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes when I hear like conversations like we just did, it makes me think that, I don't know, everyone has, like, I'm not going to tell people why they believe in God or whatever, but sometimes I have this feeling that people are using it to, explain why they had to go through so much suffering, is how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. Although some of it was, there's like a difference between believing in God and thinking that you are a reincarnated biblical figure and the bride to Jesus. Like that, when we started getting into that, I was like, this is great. Thank you for calling.
I think I missed about half of it because it was going so fast, and I was like trying to think about one thing, and then somebody called it reverse QAnon, and that's kind of what it reminded me of, like woke QAnon.
Yes. I was getting a little lost in the sauce there, but anyway, we have some other theists in the queue. Do you have a preference of the ones that are in our call-in?
I guess the first theist, the Adrian, is that right?
Yeah, okay. Let's pull Adrian in. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
Hello, what's good?
Hi, Adrian. Hello, how's it going?
Hello, good evening. Everybody on the chat, everybody listening, what's up? Hopefully y'all good.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Sorry, my dogs are playing, so if you hear them barking. Oh my goodness gracious. Explain to us what you wanted to talk about today.
Initially, and I do have to say, with all respect to Tanya, your last caller, saying that they were thieves and all that, I'm not trying to be judgmental, nothing like that, but I just know, and I'm just going to say, like, I don't believe that we believe in the same Lord that I do, right? So I'm going to just say that. Yeah, what's good. I see some people that, that engaged with earlier, so just want to say what up. But I just want to say for the last caller, I'm hoping that you do good down the line if you're still listening, that hopefully you get the help that you need and all that, but you can't be represented like that, at least not for me. Sorry. But anyway,
yeah.
Let me. I did want to ask each one of y'all. I don't know y'all names, so I'm gonna go from old girl that's on my left side of the screen, and I'm gonna go to old girl that's on the right side of my screen. I the one with the earbuds, the AirPods. I wanted to ask, what, what made you decide to say, you know what, I'm good on the God of Abraham. I'm straight on the Bible and all that. What got you to your point? I'm gonna start off asking you that respectfully. Yes, you with your hands up and over on the right, please. I don't know y'all names. I don't want to come and disrespect y'all. I don't want disrespect. And that's one thing
No, you're
I'm big
fine.
on
You're
is
fine.
not being respectable. So, what is y'all names first and foremost, if I may ask?
My name's Alyssa, and this is Taylor.
Alyssa and Taylor. All right, pleasure.
So I'll tell you. I mean, I grew up in a Roman Catholic home, and I just didn't ever really. It didn't really connect for me. Like, I never really felt connected to religion. I felt like I don't really understand the point of this. And then as I got older, it started to just feel less and less true to me. There's just so much that is hypocritical in the Bible, and I also, even just on a like fundamental level, when you think about the Bible as a book, it is a book that's old, but was also written by, many accounts that were not eyewitness accounts. They were stories that were passed down, sometimes like tens of years after the events allegedly happened. If I remember correctly, sometimes even centuries after they allegedly happened. So we're like getting this piecemeal story that was written down way after it happened, and then it was also edited many times over the course of its history. So we have this book that feels extremely manufactured to me. It feels extremely convenient to me that that there are people who also use it to, fit whatever narrative works best for them. I just I don't get down with any of it. And I think part of it is also because the people who practice Christianity, at least in the United States, don't seem to be walking in the spirit of Jesus, like we see people use and weaponize religion here a lot. And they are not acting in love. They are not acting in forgiveness. They're not acting in grace. They're using it as a weapon. So I can't get down with that either. But really, the biggest thing is, like, I just don't have faith. It just doesn't feel true to me.
So basically, to put it in a crust, you feel that the Bible is not God inspired. That is written by a bunch of old Jews that was passed down from generation to generation, something like that.
Well, I don't believe that there is any God. Like, I don't think that God's word exists, because I don't think that's real.
Okay, and this is, and before I get to Taylor, and this is just to finalize it, and this is, you have the same energy for all gods, right? Not just the God of Abraham, like talking about Hindu and all the other good religions. Okay, that's what's up. Miss Taylor?
I grew up evangelical, like young earth creationist type Christian, and I think the biggest thing for me when I was taught about Christianity, I was told that the entire Bible was the word of God, meaning it is all coming from God. It's all accurate, it's all literal. So the story of Noah really happened, the story of Moses really happened, and I started looking into it more, reading my Bible more, analyzing stuff when it had to do with the history of the Bible. And I realized there were a lot of contradictions, a lot of things that were added or taken away, and just a lot of different things that were kind of lost in translation. And so I eventually came to the conclusion that the Bible is not the Word of God. And in my mind, I'm like, if the Bible isn't the Word of God, what is the point of trying to follow parts of it? And also, what is the point of following the Christian God? Because I don't even know if there is a God, and if there is a God, I have no idea what it wants or what it's like. And so that's how I came to the conclusion of being atheist. But I'm atheist towards all gods in general too.
And you've been atheist for a minute?
A couple years.
So you're saying you never had any type, so there was no example in your life at all that said, like, this divinely has happened to me at all? So that's what you're basically saying. There's no evidence in your life that says God has intervened?
There were things that back when I believed I would probably attribute to some kind of like God helping me or something, but looking back I'm like, no, there's nothing like crazy that happened that can't be explained.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the reason why I was calling her, because I do want to get like a background. Like, let me just say it so there's no confusion or anything like that. And I'm very very religious. Like, not let me not say religious. And sorry that I'm kind of tongue tied a little bit. That's just my I don't know what that is, but just bear with me a little bit.
That's okay.
I want to say, like, I'm coming into this as with an open mind of trying to understand the mindset of an atheist, whether they believed in the word but then said, nah, I'm good on it, or they were never exposed to the word and still skeptic about whether it's truth or not, or they just saying point blank, I don't believe in any type of God whatsoever. Like, I'm curious in that type of knowledge, like, what make y'all think, or what make y'all like?
Adrian,
Yeah.
it's interesting because you have an example of kind of both, where Taylor has a lot more experience with the Bible and with the word itself, where I went to like CCD on Sundays for a couple of years, and like my parents are more religious now, but we would go to church on Sundays, but we didn't like talk about God at home. It was like pretty easy for me to say like, I'm leaving all of this. It was not like it wasn't like a big process in deciding that I was not going to be a part of this anymore. There's a lot of stuff that like you deconstruct over time, and ideologies you deconstruct over time, but leaving was not that big of a deal for me, because I was sort of like the garden variety Roman Catholic. But so and that's like part of my whole journey into believing that my life is not better with a faith system in it. And it felt, my life feels clearer and more truthful and more real now that I've released that from my life. But also Taylor grew up with the Bible being a big part of her life. So it's interesting because you have
So
a
I
little
would
bit of
label her
both here.
I don't mean to interrupt, but so I would because I kind of recently heard of this word apostate. Ever since I started engaging with atheists in the morning on the damn network, they brought me up to that terminology, apostate. So that's what I would consider Taylor. So go ahead and continue. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to point that out. That's how I will label Taylor as such, as an apostate, from what I barely learned. You know what I mean? So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No worries. I didn't have much else to add. Taylor, do you have any thoughts? You apostate?
Sure, if that's what you want to call me. I mean, I obviously don't refer to myself as that, but
I don't want to put no labels on you or nothing like that. But you know what I mean?
I really don't care. Like, I don't care about that label. It doesn't bother me. But yeah, I grew up with the Bible. Like, every single dinner, we did like a Bible study. So every single day, we were in that Bible reading it, at least having it read to us. So yeah, I definitely would say that like I had a lot of experience living and being like growing up in a household that really, really, really emphasized Christianity. Like, that was everything. but I still came to the conclusion that I don't believe it's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it didn't add anything to my life when I was a believer, and it really has only made my life way simpler now that I've like really fully let it go. So to me, it just doesn't hold value.
That's where I was. I was about to. That's where I was about to get to. Like, y'all don't have. So you moving. So you think because I can't imagine me rolling like this. So are you saying that living your life without the fear of the Lord makes it easier for you to live?
For me, it has.
I think for me there's pros and cons, but the only reason there are cons is because of how much it impacts like my family and stuff, like how our relationship is, because obviously when you're around really strong Christians and you decide not to be a Christian anymore, it kind of makes life harder because you lose that connection with like your community and stuff like that. But I feel like there's a lot of pros, as in, yeah, I'm not afraid of some being like burning me in hell for all of eternity. And I also want to make it clear that I didn't stop being Christian because I just thought it would be better. I genuinely just wasn't convinced
Okay,
anymore,
then
and
why then?
I still wanted to be convinced really bad. That's why I started reading the Bible even more and looking into the history of the Bible. But in doing that, I became unconvinced because of like what I discovered and what I was researching.
No, I just because if I may say, is it fair? Is it a fair statement to say, knowing what both of you women know, that according to the word that essentially if you don't, that is basically the belief of the Bible is predicated on believing that Jesus is the risen Lord or not? Basically, the cusp of the Christianity religion is basically if you believe that Jesus is who he is or not.
Yeah, I think that's like
I feel like
a
that's the
pillar of
main.
it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
also like believing that God is real and exists would be a part of it too. I also was thinking about how when we were talking about like if this is helpful, if like having faith is helpful. I do think that for some people it definitely is, but like not to get like sappy or too personal, but like my grandmother is old, she's very sick, and like
Okay.
like we do in the circle of life, reaching the end of what her beautiful and full life has been. And, in these moments, she said stuff like, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and like, what did it get me? Because she's still, very sick. But, and in those moments, I'm like, God, was this helpful to her even? Like, was this helpful to her? Because now, like, we all end up going into the box alone, and
I
she's
was
at
about
the
to
end.
say like that we all have our own appointed time. Like it could have been your
Yeah,
grandma's
yeah.
time.
Yeah, no, and it is. She's an old lady. She had a very full life. But it's one of those things where obviously like everyone will practice differently, but we all end up in the same situation and we don't know what happens afterwards. Like we have no idea.
And I kind of want to touch a little bit on that, like that unknowing of what's going to happen in the future. And I'm gonna bring it to Taylor with that. Doesn't that hit you like in the back of your mind, like saying, "Yo, like, what if all this unbelief is in vain? What if I am wrong?" It doesn't hit your back of your head at all. Just asking.
I think that there's always a chance that like, anything is possible, like anything at all. So there's a chance I'm wrong
Absolutely.
that so there's a chance I'm wrong that a God exists. I just think the
hmm
chances are slim. And then I think the chances of me being wrong about, or the Christian God specifically existing is even more slim than that. So like, I'm not going to just, I just don't assume he's real, but also I want to reiterate that I can't force myself to be convinced because I tried to stay convinced, like I said. And I tried really hard to find stuff that would make my faith stronger, and it ended up doing the opposite. And I really did not want that to happen because the term atheist really freaked me out and it made me spiral. But I didn't really have control over that because my mind kind of decides for me what convinces me and what doesn't. So like someone like even if I wanted to believe in God right now, I can't force myself.
Okay, now, okay, and I'm kind of on this on some Q&As because again, like, I'm not trying to come and talk and try to call in for no, oh, gotcha atheist moment, or y'all come with a, hey, gotcha Christian moment. Like, I'm not for all that. You know, I'm genuinely curious and want to have a genuine, respectable engagement. I kind of wanted to go back to what it was a him, right? What Tanya, what he said back then, right? when he said, if there was a miracle, let's just say a biblical miracle, right? Let's just say, for example, Alyssa, that you came up, you was walking around, and then next thing you know, you seen a freaking talking cat come up to you and say, hey, what's up, old girl? How you doing? Type mess. And you're like looking around like, yo, where is this coming from? Would you kind of be like, would you think like, yo, that's not a miracle that I see every once in a while? That there could be some type of truth in what the Bible says, where it says nothing is impossible. I'm just laying down a random freaking example to your face right there. Like, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. I think I've had these conversations before, where I've explained that many times when things happen, people will fill in the gaps and say, well, therefore God. And so, like, if there was a cat that came up to me and was talking, I would
and
not
we're sober-minded too. I don't want much to get twisted like you on some E or like freaking whatever hallucinogens, like you straight sober over, like, and you seen like a fucking cat coming at you. You know what I mean?
Totally. But I wouldn't, even if I saw something that like was indisputably supernatural, didn't make sense, couldn't be explained by the natural world, I wouldn't assume that immediately my next jump would be, and there's a God. My next jump might be, there's more to this universe than like we are, or more to like the world or like whatever physics than we are able to than we've been able to explain. And I think that like to some degree, you know, we are only human beings. And so we cannot, like, we can't know everything about everything, and I won't ever claim to. I think it would be like ignorant to say that we know everything about everything. So like if that really were to happen, then maybe there would be some other like, you know, soul searching about what I believe in terms of like what supernatural things, but I wouldn't immediately assume that there's a God that exists. And I don't know that I would also, I mean, I'm certain I would not assume that the God that is in the Christian Bible exists. Because that's the other thing too, right? Is there's many different gods in many different religions, and the Christian God says that if you're worshiping one that is not him, then you're also not getting into heaven. So all of the people who are who believe in other gods are going to be burning in hell, allegedly, which first of all doesn't feel loving and does not feel like a person who is representing love in the human race. Doesn't feel like a person who is forgiving, or cares about his creations. That feels like a person whose ego is so big, he needs you to believe specifically in him. For what reason, I don't know. And praise and worship him. For what reason, I don't know. Like, it's kind of like if you, like if you do a good deed for someone, they say there's no selfish good deeds because you always feel good afterwards. there's a difference also between doing a good deed and telling someone. Like if I ran an errand for my mom and I, say to her later, oh, by the way, you don't need to go to the pharmacy. I was out already. I picked up your prescription. That's one thing. If I say to my mom, I know you wanted to clean the floor, and so I did it for you, and I waxed and I polished, and I'm bragging about all of these things. It's like, well, did I do this so that she would thank me, or did I do this because it was helpful to her? It feels like a similar thing with like the whole worshiping God and feeling like you need to be appreciated out loud in like a place that is specific for worship, and all things that human beings accomplish, like vaccines, we praise God, and you did really well on a test and you praise God. It's like, no, I was studied for the test, and that's why I did well on it. We work years and years and years on vaccine, and that's why polio doesn't exist. So like, it's that kind of stuff where I'm like, why does this man or whatever, this being, need to have, this level of adoration? It just is like all ego. I don't even, honestly, I'm sorry, Adrian, I don't even know where I started with that whole thing. I just went on like a whole
No, you good. No, you good. I want to listen. I want to listen to where you're coming from. Like, I appreciate y'all for being like, number one, standing on toes, so to speak, when it comes to what y'all believe in. You know what I mean? Like, this is all a learning experience for me. I'm like, I can care less what people are saying, for me as a theist. Y'all's perspective and how y'all are coming with it is an educational lesson for me. So I'm appreciating it. You're essentially saying that you, like, regardless of what theists like myself believe in, there's no reason for you, I'm thinking, and I could be wrong with Taylor as well, but until y'all see some physical evidence outside of the Bible, or you see something that will make you like basically fear and say like, look, like this thing is really real, like right in front of my face, and without a shadow of a doubt, you're not really trying to hear what anybody that believe in Jesus is really saying.
I've listened a lot to what people have to say. I just haven't heard anything that has changed my mind. So yeah, I think I would need something else to convince me that God is real in general.
Okay. I respect that. I don't want this to be all long and drawn. I'm pretty sure y'all got other callers and stuff. That was my basic calling, trying to get y'all background story, because I do plan on calling, this one. I had not to put no shameless plug in or nothing, but I talked to another atheist show, I believe like 2 days ago, called Truth Wanted, and they already got that video posted up on their screen. So like, I'm trying to go and call like different types.
You're making the rounds.
To get y'all. Yeah, no, I really am, because like everybody knows, like especially on my days off, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I go and check in on that damn network, trying to engage with atheists there and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So shout out to those that's already here and stuff like that. But yeah, that's I basically want to go make my rounds, go everywhere, be like, just try to get perspectives. Again, like I'm open to learning about where other people are coming from and other beliefs and so forth. It's not going to move my faith no way, no how, but it's nice to learn. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be oblivious, or, I'm not just trying to shut down whatever y'all telling me. It's just nice to know. That's really it.
Try calling tomorrow.
I appreciate that. Yeah. There's another show on the line tomorrow that you can try and call in as well. You might have a different experience over there, but Adrian, I have to say, I'm very impressed with you even wanting to have these conversations just from like a learning perspective, because that is more of a reflection of the way that you practice your faith in a way that is like loving and just based on humanitarian stuff, like wanting humans to be humans and sharing experiences and all that kind of stuff. And I really respect that, because that, like, I have no interest in convincing you to not be a faithful man. Like, if you have faith, then I'm happy for you. And like, as long as it's,
yeah, I have to be faithful.
Yeah, as long if it makes you
go
feel
ahead, go
good
ahead.
and like you have that faith, then like I have no interest in trying to deconstruct you from that. And I appreciate that you're, kind of just learning everybody's perspectives in good faith. I think that's really awesome. And a lot of
Hmm.
people would really benefit from that because so many times we're like in a
Yeah.
vacuum of our own creation and we don't really understand. Like we'll create a story for what other people are thinking. Like you'll create, like, not you specifically, but someone could create a story to be like, oh, atheists are evil and they, hate every person who's a
But
theist, whatever. And you're out here like really talking to people who are just of a different mind, and you're like, you can see what's true and what's not true from from those
no,
generalizations and
let me
stuff.
just, if I may say, and again, I don't want to come interrupting or nothing, but like I had an engagement, for example, Mr. Brent A, right? We engaged back and forth and stuff like that. And like at first it was contentious, but then like we got a mutual understanding of where each other's coming from, essentially. And basically I broke down like the reasons why I believe, and I point out Book of Proverbs is definitely one. For example, some of the parables that Jesus was saying, that's another point. And most importantly, like my wife, like she is seriously, and I don't want to sugarcoat this, but she is an epitome of an answered prayer, like in my humble opinion, like straight up. So like each and every facet. So I say that in saying like these there are concrete in my eyes reasons why I believe what I believe. I have no issues if there are people that do unbelieve, and we could always engage back and forth of why you feel that way and why I feel how I feel and so forth. Always respectable and stuff. But at the end of the day, like we're all each and every different person. We all have our own different perspectives. It's just we all don't know what's going to happen at the end. Let's just keep it 1,000. And my
Yeah.
hope is that I am right at the end of the day. Y'all hope is that y'all are right at the end of the day. Like this is just awesome, happenstance, random, whatever y'all, whatever it is. And I'm hoping that the God of Abraham made all of this and so forth. So that's all that is. It's just different opinions from different people, and trying to find a common ground. But then at the end of the day, trying to see where we're going to land up at the end of the day, because we all really don't know, point blank.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah,
just trying to
for
hope
sure.
to know.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like a decent amount of Christians wouldn't even say what you're saying right now. Like at the end of the day, we don't know. And we all have our theories and opinions on it. But I think it's definitely good that you're willing to hear people out and still, believe in what you believe, because I feel like when Christians do get really mad at atheists for not believing, it has to do with some kind of weird insecurity thing they're projecting. So I think it's good that you have this attitude towards it.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all taking in my call and again, spending this time engaging, and because that's really all I'm trying to do, just engage with y'all. And I appreciate it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you
Thanks
so
for
much,
calling.
Adrian. You can call any of the shows on the line anytime. There's a bunch that happen every single week. And I'm sure anyone would be happy to talk to you. So I appreciate the very respectful, kind phone call, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Good. Oh, well, yeah, I plan on calling back. I plan on giving a call back, you know what I mean, when I have the time, you know what I mean? But I appreciate y'all taking in the call, and have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
All right.
I liked Adrian. He was really nice.
He was nice. He was funny.
Super nice. Okay, how are we feeling? Do we feel like we want to do super chats? Do we want to do one more call? My computer battery is at 15%. We're playing with fire a little bit, but we could do one more call.
I don't know. What do you think? You're the one with the dying computer.
I know. Okay.
Are you feeling risky or not?
Let me see. Did Morgan say something? What do we think? Okay, so let's do another call, Do we want to do a theist call? Do we want to do an atheist call? We've had a lot of theists today. Do you have a preference?
There's been someone waiting for over an hour, so I feel like we could take them as our last call.
Okay, let's do it. Where is my mouse? There it is. Okay. Hello, Jess. Thank you so much for waiting.
Hi. Oh, wow.
Hi.
Okay, I made it.
How's it going?
You made it. I know. I'm doing good. I heard you say that you've only got 15%, so I'll try and be fast.
Okay.
So, okay. Before I premise this, I do want to say I'm pro-choice, 1,000%. I saw something the other day. It was a court case where this girl and her boyfriend got pregnant, and she had an abortion, and he told their choir about it, and so she got ostracized by her whole community. Now, apparently, her community was highly religious, so what they view what she did as terrible. She ended up taking him to court and suing him. So, and she won the court case. Now, my question is, that made me feel kind of icky. Like, totally behind her getting the abortion, support that 1,000%. But does she then have the right to sue him because he talked to his choir and that ended up getting her ostracized? It kind of bugged me that I was kind of feeling bad for him when he's kind of the douchebag in the whole situation. So I kind of wanted an opinion, and this seemed like the best show to call to ask.
Well, I think it's hard because I understand that maybe from that the guy's perspective, the dad's perspective, I don't know, dad seems like a bad word to use, but the boyfriend's perspective, maybe he was just looking for support, and like that's where maybe the intention was. But sharing something like an abortion that's like already such a taboo topic and like a really personal thing, health information in general is so personal, and then to share it with a group that he knew was probably going to disagree and be upset about it just feels like, I don't know, he kind of had to anticipate how that was going to go and that she would be ostracized from that group. It's interesting that it had legal ground though.
That's what got to me, because I'm like, okay, here's where I came from. This is what I saw on the whole thing. What she did, totally her choice. I agree with that, again, 1,000%. But he brought the point of, well, I have a certain responsibility in this too. Who am I allowed to talk to? And that's where I came from. And I think maybe he handled it wrong. Maybe he didn't go about it the right way. But the way he was told was he shouldn't have talked to anybody. It's not his business to bring it up. And I'm like, well, it kind of is in a way, or am I wrong on that? I mean, does he have...
I feel like it would be different if he went to like one trusted friend who like wasn't even gonna say anything or tell anybody else, but telling like a whole group of people is like, I feel like a lot different than just confiding in one person and like venting it out.
Okay. See, the main reason why I called in to ask, and again, I won't take too much time, but is I'm getting like older, and I want to make sure I don't get hidebound, if you know what that means. So I test my opinions to make sure they're still valid, I guess, is the best way to put it. So, yeah, that's why. And I listen to you guys on occasion. I thought it'd be good to call in and get your opinion. Because honestly, when it comes to topics like abortion, it doesn't make sense to talk to another guy about it, because honestly, they should have no say. But, so that's kind of where I'm at.
I think it's like, it's nice that you want to also like take a pulse check when you're like, I don't know how I feel about this, and you're like, I'm gonna just pulse check the room. I think that's a really great instinct that you're having, especially because like the conversation around things like abortion and all this, it like has evolved so much over time.
Yeah.
But I think it's mostly just like a privacy thing, and knowing that doing something like that can ostracize you from a whole group of people. So I guess, I don't know, maybe like the intention is important there. It is. I
Right.
am going to look at what this case is because I'm curious, like how, like under what grounds can you sue someone? Because it can't be like
Yeah, what was the
defamation because you would have
charge?
to be,
Also,
yeah,
if
you have to
if you can
be
find it, I found it
lying.
on YouTube. If you come across it and you see it, also make sure it's real because it could have been fake too. I don't know. You know how they do those
Who
like fake
knows?
paternity test ones?
Yeah.
But it seemed real to me. But I don't see that well, so I don't know. I couldn't really see the courtroom. I couldn't see the judge. I was just listening to it. So, yeah,
Mhm.
the whole thing. But I mean, if it's real, it's like that to me. Just I don't know. It kind of. I don't disagree with what she did. I just disagree with the whole lawsuit side of it because I don't know. But that was that's
Yeah.
just where I was at on that. But yeah, no, I do. I like to get a pulse check every once in a while. That's a good way to put it. I got to call TACIS on
That's good.
Thursday because I have a question. My youngest is transgender, and they have a boyfriend, I guess. I don't know. That's why I'm calling. I need to find all this stuff out because I don't know how it works, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm learning it all. But
Oh,
no,
That's good.
I love how open you are to learning and hearing different perspectives. That's so awesome, and your kid is really lucky to have you.
Oh yeah. They've been what about 2 or 3 years now since they told me. They were afraid to tell me, which is the craziest thing because I'm like one of the most laid back people in the world. When they told me their name, their new name, their middle name they went by is Wayne. So I told them, well, that's cool. I'll start calling you Batman. You know, for Bruce
Love
Wayne, they
it.
got a kick out of that. So yeah, so no, it's I've been super supportive. You know, they're happy. That's all I care about.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I got to call TACIS on Thursday because I got some questions.
I love it.
Thank you guys.
Thank
for
you,
listening,
Jess.
And
Thanks for calling
hopefully,
in.
no problem. Didn't kill the rest of your batting. Have a great day.
Thank
too.
you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Short and sweet.
Bye. Yeah. Okay, we love Jess. He seems like such an awesome dad.
Yeah, he really does.
Okay, guys, get in your super chats. We're going to start reading them now. So if you have any other super chats you want to send, now is the time, friends. Now is the time. $4.99 from Hannah Hodgins. Hi, Girly Pops, Alyssa, and Taylor. Got my chewed gum fixed today. Hi, Hannah. Happy you're here.
Thank you, Hannah. $5 from Space Barbarian. Boss makes $1. I make a dime. I watch chewed gum on company time. I love that.
I love it. As you should. As you should. Space Barbarians, I don't know, profile picture is my favorite. I heart reality.
I missed it.
It's really funny. $10 from Aaron. Y'all, someone I know from high school is trying to be a right-wing influencer right now, and he was so hyped about getting the psychological aspects of abortion from 1979. I've been skimming, and it's so outdated. Oh my god, 1979.
It's crazy because, like, when doing that kind of stuff, you're not even supposed to use resources that are more than 10 years old. So somebody should tell him that.
That's crazy. And also, if you're trying to like be you're trying to be like right, and the only way that you can support your claim is by bringing out a book from 1979.
Right, exactly.
We should regroup. We should regroup on that.
That's only 45 years.
You're right. Only 45.
Only 45 years.
Jeez. Crazy.
$5 from One-Eyed Heathen. I used to attend an LGBTQ church for a while, and they used to... What? Is that word eunuch?
Eunuch?
Eunuch verse?
They used to use the eunuch verse? I don't know.
And while they met,
that?
well, it's trans man and why am I okay?
Erasure.
Erasure?
Yeah,
Erasure, but
they didn't.
okay.
They didn't spell
My
eunuch.
bad.
They didn't spell eunuch right. A eunuch is somebody who's had their testicles removed.
That's what I thought, but I was confused. Okay, I got it now. I didn't even know any of that theology existed. I'll be honest, like I've never even heard of that before until just this show.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either. That is really interesting. Didn't know that existed. Okay, we learned something new today. Thank you, One-Eyed Heathen. 1,000 of a currency I'm not sure of. So
Indian rupees.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Indian rupees. From Barnali A. Barnali Adhikari. I hope I'm saying that right. And if I'm not, I'm so sorry. Beef donuts and chocolate burgers.
Foul.
That is
foul. I don't even know what they're talking about, but that's foul.
That has to be a reference to like an inside joke or something that we're not getting, but at face value, yuck.
Yeah, I feel like if you ate that, you deserve to go to hell, actually. I do believe in hell for that. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, yuck. Chocolate burgers just sounds gnarly.
$10 from the atheist mechanic. If I fear someone, I don't love them. This isn't how love works. Yeah, it's so frustrating to like explain that to people that you really shouldn't be afraid of someone that like you're in a relationship with. And they're like, well, weren't you like really afraid of your parents? I'm like, no, like I wasn't afraid of my parents. I was afraid of like, I didn't want to get grounded, let's say, but like I wasn't afraid they were gonna hurt me. So yeah, I don't think that's healthy. Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I am. Sorry. I was gonna say, even in like my relationship, I love my boyfriend so much. I do not fear him literally at all.
Yeah.
If I did, I would be like, perhaps I don't love him that much, because the presence of fear would make me actually doubt the love more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah,
Crazy.
definitely. I feel like what they're explaining is Stockholm Syndrome, so.
Do you know that Stockholm Syndrome is based on a robbery that took place, and the woman who like bonded with the robber to help them get out of the situation said that she was not in love with him in real life. She was doing it on purpose because she knew that that would get her out of the hostage situation.
So is it even real?
No, not really. But then afterwards, the police were so misogynistic towards her and like created this whole story that she was in love with him and the whole thing, that she ended up having like a lot of empathy for him and the situation that he was in, that she ended up staying in contact with him and being sort of like F the police about it.
Wow.
And so it made it look even more like she was just like psychologically in this like bizarre space where she was in love with her captor, but that was not really the case. She explained that it was purposeful, and then everyone treated her like shit.
I had no idea that's where that came from.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think it was in Germany. It's such an interesting story.
I'll have to look that up. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it was in Stockholm.
And you know what? And you're right about that. It certainly was, wasn't it? Thank you, Marcus. Oh my god. 1999 from Kelly Shear, perhaps? Time to tithe. Thank you so much, Kelly. Your tithe will be used to help support this wonderful channel and all of the people who work here.
Yeah. Your life will be blessed this week. Good job.
Your life will be blessed this week. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
$4.99 from Hannah Hodgins, Adrian is better than his God and better than Jesus. Yeah, I mean, like, he, to my knowledge, he hasn't, like, genocided people, so, yeah, I would have to agree.
True. And Adrian was really, like, wanting to just engage in conversation and just learn, and I really appreciate that. I think that was, like, super good natured, and I know some people were like, he has co-host syndrome or host, whatever they call it. I get it, but I think he was really trying to just, like, learn, and I think that's cool, and more people would be better off if they did that. Yeah.
And I also think it's beneficial probably for him to go back to his like community or other Christians and be like, hey, you know, maybe help them not see us as so negative or atheists as so negative.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. I agree. We stand Adrian.
I don't know if it's me or not, but $5 from Alyssa Silverbell. Why can chickens only make one sound? Because they can't think outside the box. Hashtag Happy Tuesday.
Nice. I love it. Thanks, Leah Shauna. I like clicked on the screen before and it paused. I didn't even know I could do that, so I didn't realize we got to another super chat for a second there. Weird. $5 from Monkey a Typewriter. I appreciate you both so much, or you two so much. Tomorrow's my 40th lap around the soul. Wow. I wouldn't have guessed we'd be revisiting women's suffrage, Roe, and effing Nazis. Ain't that the fucking truth?
Literally.
Happy birthday. I hope you have the most wonderful day.
Early birthday. Damn, I'm sorry that what is that thing? Like, I'm sorry you're happy birthday, Jesus. I'm sorry it's shitty or whatever. I don't know what that's from.
It's from The Office, I think. Happy birthday, Jesus. Sorry your party sucks,
sorry
or something like that.
Sucks. Yes, that's what it is. Sorry you have to revisit suffrage and the returning of Roe v. Wade.
Sorry. But happy birthday. 40 is a huge milestone. I hope you're celebrating. I forgot about that from The Office. That was really funny.
I cannot keep track if I'm reading these or not. $4.99 from Hannah Hodgins. 2 questions. Alyssa, what made you want to become a sex therapist? And Taylor, what made you join the line? Forrest reached out to me on TikTok, actually, and that was the first time I was on Skeptalk.
Oh wow, I need to watch that. I'm sure. How long ago was that? Like 6 months ago? A year?
Well, that was like a long. Wait, the first time I was on was Christmas last year, and then like I was on months after that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun. I actually am a sex educator in certification, not a sex therapist. So, and I always think about like going back to school for a master's and doing the therapy route, but it's just like a big undertaking to do all of that school again.
Yeah.
But I worked for a woman who was a somatic sex coach, which is a different kind of support in sexuality, and she really changed like my life and the life of all of her clients. And so when I was working for her, I was like, wow, people need to know this. Like, people need to know that their sexuality can be fun and not shameful and not stressful and be just like integrated in every other part of your life. So it just basically, I had a really good experience with her, and I felt like 1,000,000 pounds lighter. And then, and I was working for her when I got the Netflix show, The Circle. So I knew that was going to be like a big part of what my social media presence was going to be. And so the second that I finished filming that show, I started my certification program so that when it aired, I was like ready to go. And
that's so
it's been really fun. Yeah, it's been a really fun journey.
Prepared.
And I love it. Oh, I was on it.
I need to watch your season of that so bad. And I think about it all the time. I'm like, I need to watch that.
It's season 4, and I honestly, me too, because I like watched it like this when it came out.
Oh my god, I can only imagine. That would be me. I'd be like, I hate watching stuff I'm in. Like, truly. Like, even these videos, I do not watch myself. It makes me ill. So I would be the same way.
Oh God. Well, and the circle can be like very cringy. It gives like I am a millennial
Yeah,
and
that's
like
all reality TV.
yeah, like I'm a millennial and we are cringe, which means we are free, you know, but it is very
We are
millennial
free.
cringe. We are free, okay? But it is very millennial cringe, and they have you doing like hashtag, you know, girl power. It's just like some of it's a little, you know, but it was really, really fun. It was a good time.
I can't wait to watch.
You have to let me know when you do because it's.
Oh, I
You're gonna see
will. I will let you know.
You're gonna see my intro into the show and be like, Jesus fucking Christ, because it was something.
No,
It
I
was
love
something. It was crazy. Thank you, Hannah.
Taylor, your turn.
Oh, wait. Why is it still?
Oh,
the
she
same
did it
thing?
already. She started
yeah,
with her.
no,
What
I did
made her
it.
join?
Yeah, I started.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
$5 from Sarah Talks Podcast. How does it feel being the best bandicoots? It feels so good.
Great.
Also,
Liberating.
I saw, right? We are cringe and we are free. I saw Sarah on the Patreon Zoom call, and I also saw Monkey a Typewriter. And I'm sure there was other people that are in the chat now that I saw on Saturday on the Zoom that I don't remember
that's
off
so
the top of my
cool.
head. But it was really fun. It was
That's
nice
so
to like
fun.
see names pop up. And I was also we did the Zoom. It was me and Jimmy, and I was like, he really is the diva of the line. Like everyone like wants to ask him questions. Everyone's like so happy to see him. I'm like, he is such a diva. I love it.
$5 from Jamnick6. Why'd the chicken cross the road? Just because. P.S. I just turned 50. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Oh, Jamnick 06. Happy birthday. Wow, quarter of a century.
50 is a special one, yeah.
That's huge. That is huge. Oh, also speaking of the Patreon and how we did a Zoom call this weekend, if you want to be on fun Zoom calls or see when we do stuff like the Line Con, which is going to be a convention that we do with Patreon members, go to patreon.com/calledline. It helps support this channel. It helps support all of the shows on it. And, you know, we really love and appreciate you for that. This whole thing is like, it only exists because of the people who watch and the people who are part of the Patreon and all that good stuff. And so we really appreciate it. And there's lots of fun stuff on there. Bonus content. Yeah, lots of time to interact with us if you want. So go to patreon.com/calledline. Is this me or you?
You, I think.
Okay. $5 Canadian from Impish Misconception. I am sending the super chat just to say, long live the monad. Oh, I was just told about the monad on Saturday, and I already forgot what it is. It's
Oh,
another
dang. Well,
inside joke thing.
last time with Arden, yeah, this monad thing was talked about a lot. I don't know, really. I can't even remember what it was.
Amargan?
Oh,
you know
wait,
what this is?
wait. Wait, it was like some kind of theory, right? About God being something. Damn, I don't remember.
Sorry, I didn't file away that level of bullshit.
Wait, Amargan, this is funny, and I feel like you'll appreciate this as the chat will too. On the circle, when I was filming that show, they have like you're in a whole room that's wired up with cameras, and there's a little speaker in there, and you have a producer. You have like a daytime producer and a nighttime producer, and they talk to you all day long, but you literally never see them ever. So I have no idea what my producers looked like. Like I know their names, I know their voices, but I've never seen them. And they would call them your voice of God producers because you just never see them. You just hear them only. Morgan, you are a voice of God producer.
I want the power too.
You're getting close.
Fair
You're
enough.
getting close. I love it.
$10 from Joshua Everett. No Taylor next week. I'll still be here, sure, but who am I going to tie to? Erica, the secret kaiju? I don't need her to squash my house if she's displeased. I guess I can beseech the monad. That went over my head.
Yeah.
What's
Same,
a secret
a little bit.
kaiju?
I don't know.
The story goes that Erica is about 20 stories tall and she can just destroy things by stepping on them.
Got it.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Got it. I've always thought that about
crocheted a
Erica.
kaiju the other day. It's very cute.
Cute. You're so funny with your crocheting. $10 from Mr. Bodiqua 10. Thanks for the lovely evening. Decent calls this eve. Here be some money to keep on keeping on. Hashtag Crash Team Racing. Hashtag Crash Bandicoot. The Wrath of Cortex. Oh my god. Now I want to play it. I got the Meta. Jimmy sent them to me actually. The Meta VR glasses. I wonder if there's a Crash Bandicoot game. Probably not.
Wait, so you play games with them? Or what all do you do with them?
Yes. So you can play games. He sent them to you
Okay.
because you can go into virtual debate rooms, and he wants me to practice debating like he does in virtual debate rooms. So scared for that.
That's crazy.
When I used them for the first time, Taylor, I was like, I want to do like a cool simulation thing. So I'm like, I went into the part that was like simulation. There was one that was like Titanic simulation. And for me, I'm like, well, it's a turn of the century boat. Please. I was like, it's a turn of the century boat. It's going to be so beautiful. Like, surely this is so you can see.
Out of
like,
everything to pick, that's so funny. Oh my god.
I was like, surely this is so you can see how gorgeous the inside of the boat is. Certainly wasn't. Certainly not. I get in there, and it's all I hear is people screaming, and the song that's playing as the boat is sinking. It was so horrifying. I was like, who the fuck did this? And then it also...
It's so crazy. It's
to
so
my
crazy that
nightmare,
it's such a trauma. Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
Like, no, why would that be the part of the Titanic you would want to live out? Are you fucking serious? So, and then the other part is, to my horror, it also is like being played online. So then I just start hearing these like these kids, surely 10-year-olds, who are yelling at me, and they're like, "Go to the other side of the boat! Go to the other side!" I'm like, and this is the first time I've ever used the VR thing, so I'm moving around like an idiot, trying to figure out how to get to like all of it. And these kids are yelling at me. I'm like, this is, and the music is playing, and people are screaming, and you hear the boat like cracking, and I'm like, who the
Oh my god!
It's
so funny. It's so funny. Somebody decided like, hey, this really traumatic event happened. Like, let's have other people be able to experience it firsthand, like for entertainment purposes. It's so funny.
Insane.
It's so horrific.
Right. Horrific. I was like, you all are sick. Figure it out.
Damn, but now like I need to do it one day because I need to know what it's all about.
Please don't. It's so dramatic. So dramatic. Oh my god.
Yeah, Alyssa, your computer's lagging, so maybe we need to get this over with.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
666 from Diablo. Avocado right-wingers using 1970s data sounds about right. Their ideology belongs in the past after all. Fuck the patriarchy. Love from Australia. True. Preach it.
$5 from President Starscream. As a being with an immortal spark, I'm being Starscream, I can confirm all is monad and monad is all. Okay. Unclear and also
Preach it.
Very clear. I don't know. Okay. Thanks so much for watching. Go to the Patreon patreon.com/calledline. Thank you to our screeners and to our voice of God producer and to our moderators and all the people. And we ride off into the sunset now.
I
Bye,
feel
friends.
like you've barely made it with your battery.
Barely. Barely.
You're like slowly deteriorating.
I'm impressed. Yep. We're reaching the end.